very exciting happenings in the Lizzie Bennett world. First, location change, other than VidCon, but like first serious, like we're gonna do a whole full day in a new location, both physically, actually, for us as human people and for the characters. It's not the first location change for them. So really for us, for the human people, we drove to a different place and had to figure out all of those things, and a completely different set to decorate for Katie Most, and also the return of some beloved cast members, people that we have dearly missed. And one of them is with me today. Oh, don't forget, check out the Patreon. My name is Ashley Clements.
And my name is Julia Cho, and this is the Look Back Diaries.
Na 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 na. And that was, of course, an ode to this episode. Together again. And here we are together again.
Together again. How apropos.
This really was like oh, you're back. Because the last time for the audience that they've seen you, and the last time that we worked together was, you know, the like fraughtness of episode 42.
Right.
Many tears were shed all around. A big hit of an episode. And then you went off and did your own spinoff.
That's right.
Without me.
With my little sis, I mean...
Which means you were already familiar with this location. You were like, oh yeah, no, I've been here before.
No, I can't. Well, now I can't remember if it was before or after our episodes.
Yeah, no, it was before, because they were airing during this.
Oh my gosh.
During the before. Yeah, so this was in this like building in Santa Monica, and they had, I don't know, like half the floor or something.
Yeah.
Not the side of the building that faced the ocean, but the side that faced the parking garage. Yeah, because we were like right in downtown Santa Monica. There was like a big open floor plan area that we didn't have anything to do with, and then they let us use a couple of the offices. One I remember had like makeup and wardrobe in it, and another we shot in.
There's something about being in like an office building where you're like, yes, I am at work. I know. I am a professional.
This is official.
Yeah.
I also was going through old emails trying to spur memories, and because we shot in this location for 2 months in a row, because we made up this whole independent study thing, and Lizzie stays at Collins & Collins for an extended period of time, mostly because it's preposterous that Darcy would have shown up in her bedroom, and we needed to make it happen someplace else. And because of the nature of the way that we shot, it was like, well, we're either here for 8 episodes or 16 episodes, and it was too much to cram into 8. So we were there for 16. But I had asked on the second day, I said, hey, is there a way to get a mirror closer to set? So I think that anytime we wanted to look in the mirror, we had to like run all the way to the bathroom or something.
Scurry all the way down the hall. Yeah. Because also, it's like a maze kind of situation with all the hallways and the rooms and the cubicles and all that.
Yeah, and I think it was probably one of those things where like, you know, the bathroom on the floor is for the whole office, so you have to like go all the way out and like down some other hallway and thing, and it's like a huge waste of time on a show in which we were used to like going like this, and
it was like too much space. It was too much space and distance for us. Like
because also sometimes people were like down the hall, and it was like, hey, we need you now. Before we get into it, you haven't been here for a minute, Julia, and people have asked, hey, what has Julia been up to? Not just in the last few months, but like over the last 10 years, and they will likely have seen you in some TV show because you pop up all the time. So if you watch TV, Julia's there. But you are also a theater producer, and I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think since I think just before
before I met you.
Yes, before the Lizzie Bennett Diaries. But just before, I had started a theater company called Artists at Play, and we are an Asian American theater producing collective. So we started in 2011. So just before we got cast and started working on this.
Yeah, I think the first production was like the only one I missed.
Yeah,
because I didn't know you yet.
Because we didn't know each other. But I think you've come to every one of our main stage shows since then, Ashley.
I believe I have.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And since then, I've Daniel Vincent Gord has been in a show with us.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, Jade Andres.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my other big, yeah, passion, adventure in life other than acting. And we've been going at it
Although
for
you
10
do
plus
often
years.
act with
I
your
do.
theater company.
Yes, yes, I do. And in addition to producing and casting, a lot
And
of the
probably
behind the
many
scenes
other
stuff.
odd jobs.
I
Fundraising.
mean, producing really, as you know, I mean,
Yes,
producing
umbrella
entails
term.
it entails anything and everything.
Where should they follow to keep apprised of
Yeah,
these?
I mean, artists at play. We try to be all up on the social medias. So we're artists at play LA on. I know it's a little bit tricky. Artists at play LA on Instagram and newly on TikTok, which is like a whole new
Oh.
world for me. I know we had an amazing batch of summer interns, and we're like, have
Oh,
at it.
young people.
Young people, bless their hearts. They were amazing. AA Play on Twitter, artistsatplay.org is the website. But yeah, Artists at Play, LA Theater Company, that's us.
That's awesome. And I will be at your next main stage show. So everyone else
Woo.
should also, from wherever you are, get here.
We're aiming for fall 2023.
Let's talk about the return of Charlotte. Shall we watch this episode?
Let's do it.
It's me.
Look at you in your professional work shirt.
I know. She's trying to look. And yes, we are also
What?
having the same experience.
That wasn't it. We were like, oh, we have to like pull all the more professional looking clothes from our wardrobe.
Yeah, which like I didn't really have. Ah.
Oh my gosh, Best.
That I do remember was improvised. Like we kept doing it, and they were like, "But maybe don't do it." And we were like, "No."
No, I think this is happening. I think we're just gonna.
Like
It felt right.
I remember us being genuinely excited to like be back together. I feel like this was a genuine moment.
And you know,
as
it's
well.
in a new setting, and there is something exciting about that.
Yeah,
You know?
it was very exciting.
Yeah.
The framing is different in these episodes because
Yes.
we were a little wider for the space, and it's I'm just very nitpicky about my own appearance, as people are, but like I noticed that like the camera hits you differently in
Yeah,
different ways,
yeah.
and like when we're a little wider, like it just I don't love it.
Oh, Ashley. I was gonna say because we also actually had more room to play with. Like literally had
Yeah,
more
I mean, like as much as
space.
this room was not any smaller than Jenny's bedroom, there was not like a queen-sized bed in it.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, these were some of the cutest props that Katie Most made. Like these little, you can just tell what an arts and crafts person she is when she would show up with things like this. You're
I
just
mean, I
like,
was
oh
just
my
gonna say,
God.
even the artfully placed like framed artwork in the
Oh, right,
back.
because she put all of this here.
Yes, and
Because
I
we just had these
remember
kind of like yellowish walls.
totally, and even like you can tell the little lamp and the file organizing tray, and then I remember even too like the jacket hanging on the door was
Yes,
a
because
specific 80s
otherwise it was
jacket
just
too.
like
More
this
blank
one.
yellowish
Yes,
space. Yeah.
I remember lots of conversations about that. And it's not like a super flattering color for like anyone's skin tone.
Right.
Although we were just on like white walls before, but
Yeah.
I mean it's also
Yeah.
kind of, now that I look at it, just a terrible color for office walls. I don't want to stare at that all. It's like did you look at those walls or the Santa Monica parking
Right.
garage? Like
Like imagine
it's
just
not the
being
best.
in that off. Oh man.
Oh, I mean, it's like he was listening at the door, and like
Yes.
to make his cue, he must have
As we
been
all
just hilarious.
were. I also love that like, you're like now that I'm looking at it, as an audience, like what are we sitting on and how is he able to so smoothly just enter and then plant himself right
No, it's a
next
great question because what I remember, there must have been 3 stools because sometime I don't know. Was there a
It's
third
almost
stool, or
like
did we
it's
have?
almost like are they on a bench and he was able to just scoot
Well,
right
and we
in?
were always sort of pretending that those stools were a bench, but like I genuinely don't remember if there was a third stool or if we had to like find something else. It
We'll
would
never
also
know. What a
make perfect sense
mystery.
here for us to be sitting in chairs, but I guess if you see the like chair back like set up for someone else to show
Yes.
up in, so it still plays better to have you know, the audience not have any idea of how
Right.
much seating there is. I love that we repeated here the idea that we just cut through when he talks to her too much. But yes, it is it's very silly, the idea that like maybe there's just this bench here. And we chose this angle, of course, so that we would include the door.
Right. It's just a funny little, like, just the little things we fudge just to
Yes,
have
absolutely. It's
things
like, don't
look
ask
good.
questions
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Also, like, you just gave Lizzie a whole office. And
yeah.
also,
Right.
apparently, no one else works here because we never even see anyone else like walk by.
We must have just been in like a remote corner, perhaps, you know?
We also never even refer to like any other employees, I don't think.
Right. Maybe
That's why he needed to hire you.
maybe Charlotte wanted to just spare Lizzie, and you're like, you don't really want to meet anyone else that works here. You
Yeah,
do your
don't.
thing.
But like we have
Yeah, yeah,
consultants show up, but like that who are on camera because they're like Fitz and Darcy, but yay, adorbs.
Yay!
You're back.
Zach, we're back together.
We're back together, and it's so nice to see the friends. Like all is
I was just gonna
forgiven.
say, yeah, and then they're like grown up in their
I
office
know.
attire.
I know. It is like young people playing professional. They're like, oh, I will wear my business clothes.
Yeah, which is what we were basically doing too in real life.
I think I may have worn that shirt early on. I don't know. I know I wore the purple version of it. I had these because it was also like I didn't own a lot of professional clothes because I have
Neither did I.
never worked in an office, come to think of it. But I had the same like two shirts in different colors from Banana Republic that were my button downs.
I mean, I was gonna say, I feel like Charlotte really kind of fudged it with her outfit that day. Like it was a little too cash. I mean, like trying to
Well,
throw on the vest to make it look more put together, but I'm sure like that's what literally what I had available for my closet.
something that I also remember us talking about, which doesn't, sometimes maybe we sort of over explained things, but I remember that we would talk about the fact because the episodes would come out Mondays and Thursdays, right?
Right.
I think that's correct. So there are several times in this, we would never really like talk about what day it was before as much, but we were several times in this, I feel like we established like, Charlotte has to work on a Sunday again, so here we are
Yeah.
at the office. Whereas, like, Lizzie didn't film in any other locations. So, like, she could have just said that she came into the office to record the episode, or, like, we didn't have to address it. I don't feel like people would have been paying that much attention to being like, wait, does that mean they were in the office over the weekend?
Right.
Or was this filmed on Friday? Or, like, we never really talk about your living situation is like all that much, and I'm like crashing with you somewhere, but like
Yeah.
obviously I could have vlogged from there, but we don't. I don't.
No, because you had this whole empty office all to yourself, so why not
Exactly,
utilize?
exactly. But like I don't know, it also occurred to me that like we could have done something like establish that I wasn't allowed to bring the equipment. I think we established that we borrowed the equipment from school. So like this could have been Collins and Collins
Oh,
is letting me use their equipment in the
yeah.
office.
You have to
So
be
it's
on
here.
site for that.
I mean, it's so funny because I'm going, we over explained it and no one would have asked questions about it. And now I'm like, or we could have over explained it this
Right.
other way.
I'm also thinking about that vest because I definitely went through like a vest phase, but I'm like, where did I get that vest? And I wonder if it was actually a Laura Spencer hand-me-down. I kind of feel like
Oh, I wonder.
there were a couple of like clothing swaps and
There were, yes. We had several. I mean, I feel like they were mostly Laura going, I'm getting rid of these things.
they're still super cute. So
And they're still adorable. So
yeah.
do you want them? And we're going like, yes.
I kind of
There
feel
were
like
times that
vest
she
was
brought
like
me
that.
specific things to like borrow as Lizzie, and then there were also times that she just gave me things. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. But I've already talked in this show about how I went through a vest phase too, because I've already worn mine, and I believe it will also reappear at some point during this like office thing.
It was the
So
era, perhaps.
it was the era.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and a bunch of the comments were like, yes, we also had vests. And I was like, yes, there was a vest time. But so all of that ramble was to say that if you seem casual, it's likely that this was a Monday. So the
Right.
implication is that we were there on a Sunday if we're going to over explain it. So
And then you get what you get. This is what we have
but
available.
also, apparently, no one else works in the office, so I don't see why anyone has to look professional at all.
Right.
It's just Mr. Collins going like, "Call me Mr. Collins and please wear a suit." What's funny is that like I know that I wear a range of things because also like at this point, I remember kind of like really feeling like I was pulling at the dregs of what was left in my
Yeah,
wardrobe
yeah,
that hadn't already been worn a lot, that was, sort of like weather appropriate because it was past the summer. But I do remember that thinking ahead, like I wear some very random things just in terms of if the look was supposed to be professional. Like
right.
I don't know that Lizzie achieved that at all. And
But
there are
Lizzie has
times
some
that,
leeway because I mean, you're not technically an actual,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
an employee
But
there.
I feel like maybe this first month especially, like I was just going like, this hasn't been on the show and it's sort of
Right.
professional and like this is technically a blazer and here we go. Because I don't even think that at this point I had like a well fitting blazer. And the only reason
Mhm.
I own one now is for auditions. It's
Yeah,
not like,
exactly.
again, don't never had an office job. So
Mhm, mhm. You're anyway.
normally when you book an acting job, they provide the clothes to you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, if anything, it probably would have made sense for Lizzie to just dress like Lizzie, but I think
Right.
that I decided she'll try to dress like it's for the office because it gives me an excuse to wear a bunch of stuff that didn't seem appropriate for Lizzie to wear before. And,
Yeah.
maybe she borrowed things. Maybe her mother was like, you need to take this so that you look like a professional lady. And she was like, okay, I will wear this blazer
Because
thing that
I'm
doesn't
going into an
really
office.
fit. Like, okay. Because yeah, I do remember it. Like, I mean, we'll get there. But I wore some weird stuff.
Do you? I'm thinking of more. I thought they were cute, but we'll get there. You'll
I'm
let
sure
us know,
you
I'm sure.
wore very cute stuff. I mean, who knows? We
I
all
don't
did the
know.
best
We did the
that we
best we
could,
could.
and we didn't have mirrors apparently.
Right.
So I think there are times I may have gotten dressed and gone like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Well, a charming and adorable reunion for these girls. And let's take a look at the comments and see how happy the audience was to see us
Oh.
together again.
Oh.
The Warner sister says, I love how Collins just sails into the room with, indeed we are! Like he was lurking at the edge of the door waiting for
He
Charlotte to say something
totally
positive
was.
about the company. They should have had a clock in the background when Ricky speaks. That would have been funny. Katie Sharp says, he really is the best person to play Mr. Collins. Yes, but let's talk about Charlotte. RH makes this a fun point. Mr. Collins may be chatty, but I kind of want him as a boss. I would totally work for Collins and Collins if I could have a boss that excited about the field. Yeah, that's something cute about that. Although, as I recall, he like makes you work a lot on the weekends, so maybe you don't want that boss.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking for where anyone is going to mention Charlotte. Here we go. Shad says Charlotte's facial expressions are what made the episode.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, thank you, the 7 lines. Charlotte and Lizzie doing Lydia's theme song together equals life made in all directions. Although I do need to point out that's not Lydia's theme song because Lydia was doing a na 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 version of the Lizzie
Lizzie
Bennett
Bennett
theme
theme.
song.
Right.
So this is just Lizzie singing her own theme song.
But I can see how, Lydia singing along to it was
Yeah,
iconic.
no, and
And
like
so
it
us
is on the na na na
replicating
na,
that.
which could have. Oh yes, and Rose Petrov says, "Does anyone else really want to watch Game of Gourds?" I mean, that was a very fun. You know what's actually crazy? Because here I am sitting here saying it's crazy that 10 years later people are still talking about the Lizzie Bennett Diaries. Game of Gourds is still a very relevant reference to make.
I kind of wish they made that. I just, like, or some sort of little teaser or something because people were so excited about it. It's one of like the inside jokes references that has persisted.
The writers had a lot of fun making them up. I
Yeah.
feel like this is now I'm checking. Yes, of course. This is a Margaret Dunlap episode, which is what I expected. And she came up with all of those like
Hmm.
all of those jokes. I don't even think no, at this point I had seen Game of Thrones. Yeah. But it was in its like second-ish season at this point.
And now we have all of the spin-offs. Like I keep seeing all the
Yeah.
billboards for like, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a new show. But it's just funny because as we've previously discussed on this show, there was kind of a ban on making really topical references because we wanted everything to stay evergreen on this,
Right.
time
Classic.
capsule of a
Mhm.
show anyway. But the thing that we made reference to that was really hot 10 years ago is still very hot.
Yeah.
We are basically the same as Game of Thrones, a little bit more feminist
Uh-huh.
and
I mean,
slightly
a lot more
fewer
feminist, don't you
dragons.
think? Yes.
Dramatically more feminist, yeah.
Yes, and yeah, 0 dragons,
And
if I'm being
dramatically fewer
honest. Yeah,
dragons. Yeah.
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 But other than that, pretty much on par.
Very similar. Well, you're back, and we're very happy about it, and we will continue to catch up with Charlotte throughout this month.
Can't wait.